Three, two, one, and we are back, ladies and gentlemen. And yep, shoo! What's up, everybody? Niko with the Local Talent Podcast. And today, man, look who it is. You already see the name, but I still got to give that great intro there. We got a cinematographer, we have a legend in the entertainment industry. And today, he is going to be my special guest. And now going forward, I think we're going to be some good friends, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my man, Aric Abraham, to the Local Town Podcast.
What's up, Nico? How you doing, man?
Oh man, I am doing great, brother. I love the logo in the background. Obviously, we are talking definitely about Legend of the White Dragon. But before we get into it, brother, um, I just want to say, I've been following, I guess you officially and Legend of the White Dragon now going on, what is it, almost 7 years,
Damn.
since pre-production, basically.
Yeah.
So please, man, give me a little intro, your background and your journey into cinematography and how you're a legend in this industry.
Well, I'm a legend in the making, I guess. But my journey into cinematography started way back when I was a teenager. Back in the era of Jackass, where people were filming stuff with video cameras or camcorders,
Worked with
and
Jackass, or you just did Jackass things?
I just did stuff like that with my friends in high school, and whenever it came time to figure out what I wanted to do for a career and a degree in college, I first wanted to go into the music industry, and then I realized that it wasn't like the right fit. But music and movies were like my two main passions or interests, and so I was like, well, I can transfer these credits that will still apply to a video or a filmmaking degree, and I won't really have lost much time. And I just like fell in love with it, and kind of my goals were to be a writer director, but as early as my last year of college, I kind of started gravitating towards cinematography because I shot sort of against my will, but I got placed as a cinematographer for a thesis film. So the teacher, he kind of put us in places that he thought were the right fit for us. And at first, I was like kind of upset that he chose cinematography instead of directing because that's what I really wanted to do. But then I just like fell into it and I loved it, and that was like my goal ever since. Um,
And what year
was
was this in?
That was in 2010, right before I graduated in May. So
2010, man. Okay.
yeah, so 16 years worth of shooting things. I moved to LA almost immediately after I graduated school, and just started shooting things with my friends, little shorts for YouTube and stuff like that.
And when
And
YouTube first came about, right?
yeah. And then it was around 2014. I got linked up with Bat in the Sun. My dear friend Joey Rasul, he was their cinematographer for a while when they were in the early Superpower Beatdown days, and he needed some extra hands for the Batman versus Vader
I think that
short.
was one of my first ever that I saw on Bat in the Sun.
Yeah, that seems to be a lot of people's entryway into Bat in the Sun. It's definitely one of the more well performing videos that we've ever made, and
Also,
I still
too,
love it. It's still awesome. Um, and But then I stayed on with Joey as a lighting guy through a lot of the other Superpower beatdowns until he left. He left Bat in the Sun 2018, I think.
oh wow, okay.
Um, and they needed a cinematographer, and he kind of pushed me into the ring.
Here you go.
Uh,
You're doing this.
yeah, so I took the mantle and just ran with it, and then yeah, I shot the it was a holiday special with Looksy and the Joker. That was my first major one that I did with them.
Man,
And then we shot Dying is Easy in 2020. Um, and actually before that, we shot the promo stuff for the Kickstarter for Legend of the White Dragon in
The
2019.
Kickstarter. That's really where I started seeing it. Man,
Yeah,
I wanted to be a producer on it. Told my wife how much we need to invest into, and she's like,
yeah.
we just started our LLC, bro. What are you talking about? I was like, come on, this could be our first producer credit
Come
on
on.
a movie. Like, man, and here we are.
Here we are. Here we
Right.
are. But and then when I wasn't shooting, I was also working as a camera assistant, and I worked on a lot of great music videos with a lot of great cinematographers, and kind of learned a lot of what I know through them. It's because while I'm not necessarily shooting, I was also like taking mental notes of like how do these guys like these scenes, or how do they move the camera and like these kind of instances. And so it's kind of like just like a crib sheet going on in my head whenever I was working on those
You were
video
really
sets.
digging into the craft.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just have a lot of appreciation for cinematography. I mean, it's the medium in which we tell these visual stories, but it's also it's a tool. I mean, it's a tool to elevate your story and like tell your story through camera movement and framing and lighting choices and all of that. And it's a huge passion of mine. I love it.
I mean, right there, bro. You just said it's your passion, right? So
Yeah.
you never feel like you're doing work, right?
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's some tough days, and sometimes it can feel like a job. But at the end of the day, I also am very grateful that I get to do this as a job.
Yeah.
And I'm not made for working in an office setting. It's just not for me. I have to be on set, in different locations every day. Sometimes with brand new crews every day. It's cool, the amount of people that I get to meet doing what I do, and the places that I get to see. It's awesome. I love it.
I mean, t so really talking about you, what drew you to Legend of the White Dragon, or was Legend of the White Dragon came to you? Like what was it?
It came to me because I was working so well with Bat in the Sun, and we had just finished Dying is Easy, and that was doing really well. Uh, they didn't really have any other people in mind to shoot the movie, just because we're such a great team. uh, and that's you can see that through across all different movies and projects, like why Scorsese's always working with DiCaprio. Well, they work well together,
Gotcha.
and they get each other, they read each other's moves, kind of thing. So it was just a really good fit.
Okay. Okay. So I mean, talking about it's your passion, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're the one, cinematography, you're the one that paints this picture, right? That creates
Mm-hmm.
this story. Um, Tell me, what were maybe what were some key moments, your visual approach, your creating aspect, and something that was memorable when you're creating these shots, right? When you were looking to create I don't know. I can't even, I haven't seen the movie yet. It hasn't came out yet. But when you're creating these shots, right? T Tell me some memorable things of like, you know what? I think this is gonna make it the best looking thing ever, right? Like, what did you do?
Well, it's at least with the creative approach for this movie. So the the team at Bat in the Sun, they like to kind of think of their filmmaking style as like playing jazz. So there's only so much preparation that I can really do before it all just kind of goes out the window when you start coming up with new shots on the fly and all of that. So at least for this production and this production team, uh, the approach is just be present and be ready to pivot at any moment. you know,
That part.
uh, but like it it comes with a certain amount of preparation though. Like you have to have a certain amount of lights, or have like rough ideas of what they might want to do, and then just have the tools ready. And grateful. I'm very grateful that we had a producer that was able to supply us those tools whenever we needed them. And there's just a lot of really great stuff going on with the camera work. There's a lot of action cinematography in this movie. And then there's also a lot of nice cinematic, you know, push-ins, pull-outs, tracking shots, that kind of thing. Um, and a lot of it wasn't necessarily designed beforehand. It was all kind of
Okay.
designed like you show up at the set and you're, you know, like looking at this hallway, like, oh, this would be a really great place to start the move for, you know, when they're going into the room or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So you kind of adapting to the space, you
Right.
know,
Yep. I mean,
and
it's production life.
yeah, and you know, we've had a lot of discussions about the look and feel of the film, and like, you know, Aaron from Bat in the Sun, you know, for a long time he was just sending me inspiration photos that he found on Instagram and stuff like that of like, you know, like kind of cyberpunky neo noir looking sort of
Yeah.
images, and you know,
Yeah.
that's kind of like where I started forming my creative ideas about lighting and um, just composition. And
Or was there any big, I guess, equipment that maybe you've never used before, and because of this producer and this film, you're like, yes, I get to use this, light, this camera, or this lens, this shot.
there was, yeah, and there's a shot in, it's actually in the trailer. It's when Jason is talking to Mark DeCosco in like a church or like a monastery looking place.
The prophecy tells of a duel between the two dragons of a shared crystal. One, the white dragon, and the other, a dark dragon fueled by a fiery rage. The prophecy calls this entity Dragon Prime.
And um, we filmed it at this place. It was over in Highland Park, California. It was, I think at one point it was a monastery or something like that, that was like hand built by the current owner's like great
Oh,
great
wow.
great grandfather or whatever. And you know, it had these stained glass windows in the main church or cathedral area, but the it was like crazy thick, like it like probably 5 times the average thickness of a window, right? Like it was thick.
Okay.
And so when I was doing the location scout, I was thinking like, oh yeah, maybe we'll throw out some like 2Ks, you know, out on the for exteriors pushing in. And the gaffer, who at that time was filling in because he had expertise filming at that place, he was like, no, dude, you need 6Ks. You need 6Ks for sure. Like anything less, you're not going to have enough light. I promise you. And it was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And so we ended up getting, I think it was 2 6Ks and a 4K shooting through those windows. And
A
you
lot
know,
of
for
light.
me, uh, that was really a blessing, because a lot of the time I'm working on stuff where we don't necessarily have the budget for that kind of thing. But then also, it's just not really like a typical tool for people these days. I mean, we work with LED lighting now, and you know, super sensitive sensors that, you know, you don't need 6K and
Right.
stuff to light your scenes generally. So it really was kind of a blessing, and I'm very grateful that, like I said, we had a producer that was able to furnish this stuff, and I had a great team to help me out, make it
Was
what it
there,
is.
speaking of, this producer and you being able to create these shots, was there any challenging shots that you can recall that you're like, this is going to be tricky, or we're really going to have to get creative on this?
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch actually. There was a bunch of challenging shots in the film actually. Trying to think of if there's any in the trailer that you might have seen. Um, but there's a few in there in the movie that I'm really proud of, because of how how we're deceiving the eye.
Okay,
Um,
there we
like
go.
there's a shot, it's of the white dragon, and the camera is really high. It's like 15 feet in the air or something. I'm standing on a scissor lift, and
Okay.
and we're shooting stuff on a video wall. We had like this big 40-foot or so video wall displaying, images of our background that we wanted. And then we filled in the floor and like the edge of the video wall with like rubble and all this stuff. And, from where I was standing, it looked real, like it like just kind of like blended together. And it
That's
was
dope.
like,
That's crazy.
it was such a really great creative success, I think, because that's a lot of what cinematography is like deceiving the eye, or like trying to present something to you that, you know, or like present information in a way that feels real, you know.
Oh yeah.
And there is a lot of CGI in this movie, but that was a moment where I was like, hell yeah, like we did something really cool practically, you know.
Love
And
it.
that's what I'm always kind of fighting for, is doing stuff practically, because it just feels all that more real,
Yeah, no, I
you
mean,
know?
that's what we all want. When I'm in production now again, going on 7 years, and watching
Mm-hmm.
movies, my wife will be like, "Ah, that's fake. Ah, green screen," and I'm like, "Man,
Yeah.
in production, I'm looking for the real, you know."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to, this whole creative process that you took to basically make us feel this movie as if it was real, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, what are the audiences not realizing, that it took to make this movie? Besides money, right?
Sure. Well, it took a lot of doing. This movie, I want to say it was this movie, like the concept of the movie and the wanting to make it was a thing between Jason and Aaron 15 years ago or something. It was like
Mm.
long before we ever released anything for Kickstarter, right?
Wow, 15.
And so it's had a long journey. And when Jason, who's the most legendary Power Ranger, he wanted to do something that was darker and more adult leaning, and wanted to do it with Saban, and but they didn't feel like it was on brand for what they wanted. I mean, they're selling toys to children, and that's cool. We raised a little over 500,000 on Kickstarter, and then our producer Chris J stepped in to kind of like fill the gap that we needed to really do the film right. And uh, so then we started filming in it was May of 2021, uh, and we filmed for 6 weeks, uh, 6 5-day weeks. Um, so it was about 30 days or 30-ish days, and then the at that time the story was a little different than what it is now. It hasn't changed a lot, but there was some tonal differences to it,
Well, that
and
sometimes happens.
um,
Movies are created.
yeah, that kind of stuff happens. But and then we had designs of filming some other pickup scenes and things with Jason. And we did film a lot of that, but there was still some things left on the table when he passed away. And then it was like, what do we do? Because we don't have a complete film yet. Like, we just don't. Like, and if we do release what we have, it's not really going to honor his legacy. It's like an unfinished thing.
Yeah, you want to make it
So
right.
yeah, we wanted to do it justice. Because that's what Jason wanted. He really wanted to tell a good cinematic story, and he always wanted it to be in theaters too. That was his other thing, was like, I want this to be in theaters. And so the powers that be, had their creative meetings and all that to try to rewrite the story a little bit, to fill in some of the gaps that we were missing, and to really turn it into what it is now. But that took a long time, because we kind of like piecemealed it together, where we were like we'd film for like 2 or 3 days here, and then we'd take a couple weeks off, and Aaron would be in the editing room piecing it all together, and like
Okay.
just every time just assessing, like, what do we need, what are we missing, can we do this better, kind of thing. And so we did that for a couple years, um, where it was just on again, off again, and then they had a like a supervising producer or like a consultant who was kind of helping them out because uh, one, we were short on runtime, and two, they wanted to make the movie the best thing that it could be. So, and let me look his name up real quick so I don't mess it up.
Yeah,
I think it was
curious. While
Scott
you look that
Mednick.
up, I'm gonna take a hydration break here, brought to you by Zoa. Have you heard of this energy drink here?
Zoa?
Zoa.
No.
It's actually Dwayne Johnson's brand. He's the
Oh, okay.
and I drink it every day. So, cheers to
Oh yeah.
The Rock and Dwayne Johnson for hydrating me through this
Oh yeah.
awesome interview with Aric
Sponsor the
Abraham.
podcast. But yeah, so the producer's name was Scott Mednick.
Scott, who?
Um, Mednick, Mednick.
And he was the
And
producer helping you guys out.
yeah, he was kind of guiding the film into a finished product kind of thing. And
Okay.
uh, he's done a lot of really great things in his career. Like one of the biggest movies that he's known for is 300.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Know that.
and let's see what else. We are Marshall. Uh, yeah, he's got a long IMDb. So like because we are this was our first feature film, or at least Aaron and Sean over at Batman. This was their first time making a feature film. So they were open to some of the they were open to what's the word I'm trying to think of? Guidance. They were open to guidance
Got it.
for anything, just trying to honor Jason's wishes of making a great film and releasing it in theater. And so then when we finally had the thing done, I mean, we got the film locked, picture locked last year.
Oh, wait,
And
last year's. We're 2026. You're saying 2025,
yeah,
picture locked, 2021 production started.
yeah. So it was a good 5 years or so. And then we did our color correction. We had a few sessions with a really great colorist. His name is Aric Abraham. He did an incredible job making, kind of polishing up the film. And then we also did our sound mix. And, all those things kind of take a little while. And then while all that's happening, they're over at Bat in the Sun, they're shopping around looking for distribution. And,
Uh,
with the way distribution is these days, the it's stuff goes
it's
straight to streaming more often than it doesn't,
right.
and so that was the big uphill battle for was getting it in theaters, and we wanted to have the right distributor who understood what this movie is, and the people that it's trying to cater to.
Shout out to
And
Go USA.
yeah, exactly. Shout out to Welgo. Um, and I think they're going to be a really great fit. They've been doing a really great job trying to get it into as many theaters as they can. As far as I know right now, it's in over 600 here in the
Oh,
US and Canada.
it's
So
here
I'm
in
super
Vegas,
stoked
baby.
about. Hell
That's
yeah.
that's where I'll be seeing
Uh, and there's more to come. There's still international release dates that are coming that I unfortunately do not know yet, so I can't share that with you. Um,
good.
but yeah, it's just I'm really really excited, really honored to have been a part of it, and I cannot wait for you guys to see what we made together. It's an awesome ride.
I mean, speaking of that, bro, I want to get right into we've kind of talked a little bit more so of you and everything, but um let's dig right into it into Jason David Frank's legacy, right?
Okay.
Your
Yeah.
experience working with Jason, his impact on the cast and crew. Ooh, I'm getting emotional just saying his name. Uh, you know,
Yeah.
what do you hope, audience remember about his performance and his legacy and you working with him? What's his legacy about, man? Tell me.
Well, his legacy is. it's very complex. He was a very complex human being, um, with a wide range of emotions and capabilities. I mean, for as powerful of a fighter as he was, he also had a powerful mind, and creating, like, he was a poet. He wrote poetry, you know, um, and he, as far as the impact with the cast and crew goes, um, I can confidently say that he made a unique connection with each and every one of us. Whether it was me, doing my job, or, like, with the, makeup artists and, costumers and, like, everybody on the set. He, like, I've worked in Hollywood for 16 years, and there's certain celebrities that feel unapproachable, right? Like, you're scared to talk to them because their presence enters the room before they do, kind of thing. But, like, Jason wasn't that. I mean, like, sure, he was the most legendary Power Ranger to ever do it, but, like, he was also a human being with his feet on the ground. Um,
Who's a
you know,
dad?
he was a dad. I mean, he rode his motorcycle to work every day. Like, that kind of thing. He was. I'm really gonna miss him. He, learned a lot just from being around him, and working with him. The way, like, the way he treats his fans. You know, uh, stories that I've countless stories that I've heard where he's, at a convention, and he didn't leave the table signing stuff until the last person got through the line, even if they didn't have money to pay for it, kind of thing. Like, he was a really kind, generous man. Um,
Definitely heard that name.
and yeah, and but it was also, he was really passionate about what he did. Like, there's a there's a few instances in the movie where he's doing his own stunts, and, like, there's one. It's in the first fight in the movie, or I guess the first major fight, um, where he gets thrown into a table, and so he, like, he's launching himself into a table that's got, like, a computer monitor and a bunch of other crap on it,
Oh man.
and we did it. I think we got it on the second one, but he was still, like, down to do it a couple more times just because he wanted to get it to do it the best that he could. And so it's stuff like that that I'll always remember. And there's a shot in the trailer where he's throwing a punch at a punching bag, right? Um, so that shot, uh, it's just him in the boxing ring, myself operating camera, and then I had a spotter. That was it. Those are the only people in the room. And I'm just kind of, like, going around him, filming as he's throwing punches at this and kicks at this bag. And the bag was a very old bag, to the point where, all the sand and stuff inside it had basically, like, turned into concrete, or it was, like, super hard. But he's just going at this thing, and the bag is hung from the ceiling with chain, and the ceiling was like a tin roof, or, like, corrugated metal kind of roof, and every fucking hit that he did, it just shook the
Rattled.
fucking roof.
Yeah.
It was insane, and, like, so yeah, just the being one of the few people in the room to, witness that firsthand was, it's a gift. I'll always remember that.
uh, just seeing, going back to again the Kickstarter, following Bat in the Sun, following the behind the scenes that were being posted, you know,
Mm-hmm.
as you're telling me all this, I'm like, did I see that? Did I not? Like, because I remember stuff being posted, from Bat in the Sun,
Mm-hmm.
social media. Trust me, there was people posting, you know.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I'd be lying if I said I wasn't following that stuff too. I mean, uh, we everybody in the crew, was very passionate about this movie. It gets said a lot about film crews. We're like, this is the best film crew ever. Or we're like a family, and in a lot of cases that's true. But this one, definitely. Like everybody in the crew just got along so well. And we were just such a great team together. And I'll always cherish the memories that I have with them. And I hope that we'll be able to make some more magic here in the future together. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of love, a lot of passion on set of doing what we did, and I think it's going to come through in the final product.
Man, I guess excited is not even the right word, born 89,
Yeah.
Power Rangers when it came out in the 90s, following it. I loved Power Rangers so much that I started doing karate. I was like, I'm gonna be a Power Ranger.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
following them, and I literally quit karate almost in essence to keep watching Power Rangers, and I was just like at home, like I'll
It's
just
getting in
watch.
the way of my Power Ranger time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you can see this here, bro, but I got the old school
Hell
morph
yeah.
and everything. Like it's
I
one of
love
those
it.
things. I'm diehard to it. So, again, I just want to say,
Hmm.
thank you for sharing some of these things. Talking a little bit more before we wrap up here. I think we got probably another, 5-10 minutes here left here. I don't want to take
Cool.
too much of your time, but
I can chat about this all day long, brother. There's
I
just so
mean,
many
look, you
stories,
want to give me
I
some
mean,
inside stuff here. Share me some inside, what is something that you're, oh, crazy. I'm literally watching Power Rangers, right? I gotta take a picture. I'm watching Power Rangers. This is what? And Jason David, oh my gosh, I gotta take a picture. He just popped up.
is he with us right now?
He's like a cameo right now on this episode. Oh my gosh.
Excellent. Perfect. He's with us.
Hilarious.
He's hanging out with us right now.
Bro, it's like that's crazy because I knew it's not even it's like a 2000s or early 2000s. So and he makes cameos in like all the Power Rangers. So
Yeah. Yeah.
for us
Yeah.
to be talking and to see his cameo right now, I'm blown right now.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man,
Uh,
share me some things about the film that, if you're okay with that, what, let me tell you something. And maybe we just have to clip that out. But if you're not willing to, that's okay.
okay. Let's see.
Some cool
So
effects,
the
toys, I don't know.
yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on with this movie.
Yeah.
So I mean, you obviously we got some Power Ranger cameos. You know.
Okay. So are you able to share some cameos?
So Jason Font, he's in the trailer. He's played Wes, the Red Time Force Ranger.
All of this guilt, you have to let it go.
Aric, let's go!
For us.
Force Ranger. And then Serena Vincent, she's also in it. She plays Jason's, or excuse me, Eric Reed's wife. And she was Yellow. I can't remember what iteration she was the Yellow. She was definitely the Yellow Ranger, but I can't remember what iteration at this point. And then Ciara Hanna is also in it. And she also played Yellow. Um, and then we also have David Ramsey, who was in Arrow. Who he
Oh,
was really
nice.
great to work with, and that was at the behest of Jason. Jason really wanted to work with him
Okay.
because they met at a convention or something like years prior before we ever filmed the scenes with him. But yeah, he always wanted to work with him, and we got him in the movie, and he's fantastic. Um, and then there's also Lenore Zan. She has a small cameo in it. She was the voice of Rogue in the X-Men animated series.
Oh,
Um, who else?
I mean, Bad in the Sun, they have so many people under their belt. That's why I was like, who did they contact? You know,
Yeah.
that was
Um,
the question.
but so the movie it's we shot a lot of fight stuff. There's a lot of really great fight stuff that I'm really proud of. There's I mean, out of the 90-minute runtime, it's probably a good 10 to 15 minutes worth of like solid fighting. I could be wrong about that estimate actually, but
I was like, you should know this breakdown. Come on,
I
bro.
I should know that. You're right. Um, but yeah, a lot of really great fight stuff. But then one of the things that kind of for me kind of differentiates it from Power Rangers is that uh, it delves into darker themes, about like mental health and that kind of thing, suicide.
That's huge, brother. That is huge.
Yeah,
We all go through that.
absolutely, and that's one of the takeaways that I hope people will get from this film is that
My
even
next question.
superheroes have issues. It's like we're not, they're not impervious to this stuff either. Like uh, it's really important. And I mean, that was always the message even before Jason passed away, too. He wanted to share that with the world because, he was very open about his issues with mental health and just trying to talk about those things. But, I mean, superheroes have to deal with it.
Very true, brother. Thank you for bringing that up because that was a question I wanted to ask. What is something, Legend of the White Dragon slash, Jason David Frank, what does he want this film to be a lasting impression for the fans? And I think you kind of nailed it right there, which is, mental health, advocacy of mental
Mm-hmm.
health. Everybody
Absolutely.
has some type of mental health. I mean, to be honest, that's why I started this podcast. I was in corporate America, got out of that, went through a year of searching what I wanted to do. Finally, my
Mm-hmm.
wifey, we were like, let's do a podcast. And, here we are 7 years later.
That's
Been able
great.
to interview some amazing people in the industry. And I want to say thank you for now adding to my list of amazing creative legends in the industry. When I first started this, I interviewed the DP of a music video I was on, Michael Bolton. And
Oh, I know Michael Bolton. Oh, wow. I've worked with him before. That's great.
yep, yep. So he was my first, like, DP of
Mm-hmm.
cinematography in the industry. And here we are, fast forwarding again, 6 years later, bro. And wow, I'm interviewing Aric Abraham, the cinematographer, legend of the White Dragon,
Wow.
who worked
Wild, man.
directly with Jason David Frank, the
Yes, sir.
legendary Power Rangers. Brother,
Mm-hmm.
we're coming up on time. I know we could talk hours. Trust me, I would love to talk hours. But I want to ask you a couple, last couple questions here, maybe for
Okay.
some aspiring filmmakers like myself. You know, you got into Bat in the Sun. You had some great connections. We all know this industry is about connections, right?
Absolutely.
But what is some advice for some, filmmakers that do want to go work maybe with you or that want to work with Bat in the Sun? How can we go work with you guys?
Well, I mean, the first thing you can do is just reach out. I mean, the worst thing that they'll tell you is no or not respond to you. But you won't know. It's like what's that phrase? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
and so there's that. But then also just don't give up. You'll never be able to win if you give up. you know
Fact.
and there's been a lot of times where over my 16 years in the industry where I'd be lying if the thought didn't come to mind, like, hey, maybe I should look for another job or like chase something else. But like, I also, the longer it all goes on, the more committed I am to it. Where it's like, why give up now? Like I can't give up now after all of this. Like, I can't give up now. So like,
Yeah.
you just have to have the resolve to be willing to ride the waves and ride the current. Because it's never going to be stable, but you you have to kind of just go along with it. If it's something that you're truly passionate about and like this is what you want to do, you have to just go along with the ride, you know.
100%, bro. Yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a effing roller coaster. This
And
freelance
it's only gonna get crazier.
game is crazy, man. Blessed to say,
Yeah.
you know, it's not just me, it's me and my wife. And she, blessed to say, has, some great clients that keep us afloat. But, this podcast is what's, again, for mental health, getting engagement to the industry of people that want to know, hey, what does a cinematographer do? What what does Aric Abraham do? What has he done? Besides Bat in the Sun, Legend of the White Dragon, you have done some amazing other projects. And trust me, people can go look you up on IMDb. They can hit you up by Instagram, uh,
Yep,
because that's how I
I'm
know.
there.
I
Yeah. See, like I said, just miss
so
100% of the shots you don't take. So
and
just
that's
reach
kind of how
out.
I started this, just reaching out
Yeah.
to people via social media, like, want to be on the podcast? They wouldn't hit me up right away, but I would blow them up a couple times, and trust me, they get back to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
It's the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
yeah. Oh, your logo disappeared in the background, but that's all good. Thank you again, bro. I mean, honestly, just chatting about this,
Oh, nah.
oh man, I don't even know how I can say how I want to end this, podcast, but really, we have a movie coming up, Legend of the White Dragon. What is something you want the fans to, how do I say, not get excited for, but what is something that when they walk into the theater, they're going to be like, I can't wait for what?
Hmm.
I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to know if blah.
Hmm.
Who's
Well, I
going
mean, I think the most obvious one is I can't wait to see Jason on screen again. Because yeah,
Yeah, you
it's
nailed it,
gonna.
bro.
Yeah, I think that's ultimately what people are looking for. But then you're also going to be able to see Jason at his peak physical form, just kicking ass. And I cannot wait to share that experience with an audience. One, to honor Jason's wishes, but also I think it's going to be the best possible thing for the community to kind of rally around, because we lost Jason a couple years ago already, and we haven't really had we've had our time to grieve, but like we've also had this movie kind of hanging in the wings for so long that now we finally have the chance to share it with everybody, and we can all get together and experience it together. There's just something really intangible about watching a movie in a theater that's completely packed full of people and we're all experiencing a moment together. That's just something you'll never get watching something at home. And I'm really looking forward to that.
Maybe I don't know if you have the answer to this or not, but is there a part two coming?
There was always a design for that. Um, Now, obviously, it remains to be seen if we'll pursue that in cinematic form. But for sure, there will be some graphic novelizations of the other parts of the story. This movie, in a sense, is really the second part. It's like the middle of the movie or the middle of the story. So it'll be kind of bookended with some things in the future, but I don't know when. I don't know who the artists are going to be. But I do look forward to that. And even when Jason was still with us, he was sharing some stuff with me, like some rough sketches and like page layouts and stuff for what it was going to be, and it looked rad. Like it's really gritty uh, illustration style, and from what I remember, and I think it'll lend well to the just the story and the tone. You'll be able to do things in a graphic novel that we'd never be able to do in a movie, and vice versa.
Oh, hearing all of this, bro. This is great.
Yeah. So yeah, it does pain me to say that the future of the cinematic story is uncertain. because we did want to do that at some point, but things happened, and here we are. But we at least got to finish the film, and I'm very proud of it. And
I
I
just it came back on the screen, bro. It's Power Rangers.
Yeah, he's with us
I think it's
again.
the Dino Force. That's what it was. Yeah.
Dino Force, nice.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
yeah, I'm really I'm just excited for everyone to see it. It's been a long time coming.
You
Like it with for all of the pain and anguish that the audience feels about it, we felt that too. I mean, like it just for a while it felt like a never ending project. It's like, when are we going to get this done? Is this done yet? Like, it was almost like a joke
because you
on
were
set.
in it.
Like, yeah, like it was almost a joke on set. We're like, how many more days do we have left? Like, oh, 3 more days. So then we'd shoot 3 more days, and then like, oh, 3 more days. We just keep adding more days, and it wasn't in vain. The some of that stuff was we shot a scene a certain way and then realized it didn't really work that way, so we would shoot it a different way, just until we got it right. And not a lot of movies get that luxury. So shout out to Chris J for putting up with us and putting
I
up
was
some
okay.
cash when we needed it.
Maybe
You
this is
know.
a bit too extreme of a question, but talking about how this movie kept going and going and getting
Mm-hmm.
edited, shot, do you recall like an estimated pre-production, like what that budget was? And then, obviously we could look on IMDb what it came to, but would you say it just shot up more because of all the extras?
Um, I mean, yeah, it definitely did. So the Kickstarter was 500 grand, and then when we thought we were done with principal, I think Chris had put in another million five, so it was like this is approaching 2 million. But then with the other reshoots and things, it ended up going to like 3.5, which to layman like myself, like that's a lot of money. But like in
Yeah,
filmmaking, that's not a lot lot of money.
that's
Like it
tiny.
it, it, it goes so fast, so insanely fast. Because like for instance, uh, the final fight scene. Well, I won't reveal any spoilers, but like it takes place in a set that costs $10,000 a day to film in, and we filmed that
Virtual,
sequence for
was it a virtual
7 days.
production room?
No, it's this place called Capital Arts, and it's basically like a Costco-sized warehouse building, with a bunch of existing like standing sets.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like they have like interiors of a house or
In
like a
LA,
jail
right?
cell. Yeah, yeah, here in
Bro,
LA.
I think we've been to the same one. It's huge and it's just
It's
moving
it's
sets
huge.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking huge. But yeah,
Yeah.
it costs $10,000 a day just to rent the place out.
Right.
And we were there for, I mean, just for that fight sequence alone, we spent 7 days up there for that. But
7 days for a fight sequence?
yeah, yeah. Because
Woo!
here's the thing about fight sequences is that the shots are incredibly short, and or you have shots where you have like 5 or 6 beats where they're throwing a few punches here, maybe a kick there, and then you have your cut point. But
Okay.
like every single shot, you have to rehearse and go through it slow and find the right moves, and find the place where the camera needs to be because it has to be in a certain place, otherwise the hits won't hit. So it just takes a lot of time to like set all those things up, and especially when you're doing stunts where people could potentially get injured and things, you got to really take special care. So it's really tough to shoot a fight sequence quickly.
I
um,
could get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, at the end of the day of shooting, we may have like 20, 30 seconds of a fight scene. And that's all we got for the day. But like, it's all really great stuff,
Right. Of
stuff that will
course. Yeah.
absolutely make the cut. But like, you're not getting 5 or 6 pages worth of fight scenes done in a day. It's just not happening.
Not
Like,
happening.
it's
Dang.
not happening unless
No,
you
yeah.
have like a whole convoy of stuntmen that are ready to step in for just a couple takes here and there and then move on. Like,
Right.
just yeah, it's tough. So
Man.
that's where a lot of our 60-something day shooting schedule ended up going to, was towards
I
fighting
was
and stunts.
I was thinking about that. You said it was going on for how long? And I was like, wow, that's a long, not a long shooting schedule, but in terms of indie budget, I guess that is long, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, with the indie movie at this budget level, you're shooting it in like 14 to 21 days tops. You
Yep.
know,
Yep. That's what I'm used to
but
shooting. 3 weeks.
right, right, yeah, 2 or 3 weeks. So like 3 weeks is a blessing if you get that. But like Obsession, I think they shot that in like 18 days or something like that.
Really?
You know, yeah, something close, like 18 or 20 days. So we because Chris was a very he's a producer that understood what we were trying to do. And like I mentioned, we had to go and reshoot a couple things. Like some productions just don't have that luxury. Like they just have to live with what they got. And
Yeah.
we were able to refine what we had and make it the best that it could be um, for Jason. Because it's his legacy, it's his final film, and you only get one chance to release the film. And then that's it.
That's it, man.
Unless you want to do some director's cut or something down the road, the Snyder cut, shit like that. But like, we had one chance to do this right, and it took a long time, but we got it done. And I want to thank all of the supporters who supported the Kickstarter from the very beginning and have stuck with us after all this time. I hope that you get everything you wanted and more out of this film, because we threw the kitchen sink at it. we just threw everything at it, everything we had, and I'm very proud of it.
I think we're gonna end it with that, brother, because honestly, that's what all the fans are from the Kickstarter, like myself. We are
Yeah.
waiting for this movie to come out, and I asked you earlier, what is something that we're all excited to see when we walk in that theater? We're all excited to see Jason David Frank in his last movie and his legacy to shine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think we're gonna end it there, brother. And what we can still chat, but wow, thank you, Aric Abraham, for joining me today on the Local Talent Podcast. Thank you so much for discussing the ins and outs, the behind the scenes, the cast, the crew, some spoiler alerts for Legend of the White Dragon coming out in theaters, everybody. And
The
not going
theaters.
We are going straight to the theaters. My man's already got his tickets. I got
Oh
my tickets
yeah.
for Vegas. So please, everyone, if you don't have your tickets or if you don't know, now you know Legend of the White Dragon is coming out. Thank you, Aric Abraham, for joining me today. As
It was
always,
an honor and a pleasure, sir. Thank
oh,
you for having me.
thank you. And we're going to stay connected. As always,
Oh
everybody,
yeah.
hashtag what's next? Shoo!
This city needs the White Dragon back.
The prophecy tells of a duel between the two dragons of a shared crystal. One, the white dragon, and the other, a dark dragon fueled by a fiery rage. The prophecy calls this entity Dragon Prime.
Who the hell are you?
The one with the power to give you what you desire.
This city will not rest until Eric Reed is held accountable.
The world never needed the White Dragon.
We can't do this without you. You want to pick your color?
All of this guilt, you have to let it go.
Eric, let's go!
For us, for the world, for your family.
The spirit to fight is still strong within you.
You can't stop me!
Let's find out!
Ah!